All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here bringing your daily horoscope for Wednesday, the 7th of April, 2021. Whatever time it is right now, it is, well, for me, it is about 8:17, and if you watch this video right when it pops out, if you go out and look at the moon, you're going to see the moon right between Saturn and Jupiter, which is really cool. So, the moon, still moving through the sign of Aquarius, around 6 a.m. my time, is going to conjunct Jupiter. Conjunction means the two planets are coming together. And it's going to be at 24 degrees. We have two kind of cool placements today, and I'm going to tell you about them. So the moon here at 24 degrees, Jupiter at 24 degrees. The 24 degrees of Aquarius is about a development of the right brain, which the right brain is Virgo, right? The right brain is Virgo, the analytical mind, the communication and wisdom and technology. The left brain, Pisces, is about spirituality, creativity, and all this. And with Jupiter and the moon coming together at 24 degrees of Pisces, 24 degrees of Aquarius, this is us feeling that we need more technology to do perhaps a simple task. Where we talked about yesterday, I brought up like the whipping mashed potatoes and using a technology mashed potato whipper, which can be more beneficial, or something like, using a power drill over just wrenching it or screwing it or whatever it may be through a screwdriver. So technology can be beneficial. And in this aspect, it's suggesting that we are overly relying on, which is quite contrast to where we were yesterday. And I'm going to give you a fine example, something that happened in my life. It's really interesting that it'll help kind of put this into perspective. I dislocated my shoulder a few times in my life. I think 8. To be total, until I had surgery on it. One time I was studying astrology up with Rick Levine in the mountains of, where were we at? Up in the mountains in Oregon at a place called Brighton Bush, right? And if you know Rick Levine, he's amazing. Love you, Rick. Anyway, so I ended up dislocating my shoulder on top of this mountain. And the ambulance had to come get me and bring me down. It took 5 hours before I got to the hospital. And then they take the x-rays and they pump me up with this milk of the poppy and fentanyl. They're giving me all these drugs. They put me under, and then I wake back up and my shoulder's in, and I feel worse than I did when the shoulder popped out to begin with. Fast forward about 2 months, I'm down in Costa Rica to meet with Kepacha. Okay, if you know Kepacha, Astrology for the Soul. And I was down in Uvita, Costa Rica, and decided this would be a good time to slide down a 60-foot waterfall. And I just had my shoulder pop out a month and a half ago when I was with Rick up in Oregon. So this is before I went to go to his workshop, and as soon as I hit the lagoon, the shoulder pops right back out again. And now I have to go to a hospital in Costa Rica. And as I'm going to the hospital in Costa Rica, I kid you not, there's like a goat crossing, in front of the hospital. And I'm just like, oh my God, what am I, I'm out of my element right now. I'm in a country that Spanish is very little, poquito español. So anyway, to the story. And instead of all the drugs, instead of the technology that we're using here in America, and my bill was like $5,000 in America. Now in Costa Rica, they put me in this wooden chair, arms slung over my shoulders like slinging over the side of the chair, like one of these. And then all of a sudden they say, breathe. I thought they were going to give me the stick. Oh, I like that to bite on. And he says, just breathe. And then they lift my arm up and it goes right back into socket. Oh, and I could breathe for the whole price of 25 American dollars. Okay. So the point of this story is here in the United States, we used all this technology. We used all of these fancy chemicals and drugs and this order and operations and to do something. And it ended up costing me about $5,000. In Costa Rica, they had a much simpler approach, an older approach that didn't need all the technology, that didn't need to shoot me up with drugs. And this simple old approach ended up doing it an even better of a job, because I didn't feel all groggy and stupid afterward, and for a fraction of the price. So where we have this emotional yearning, thinking that we need more technology, oh, I wish I had this tool, I wish I had this thing that would make this job easier, we might be challenged by trying to go back to a simpler way of doing something. So that's my long story, try to be condensed for you. So those are my stories of traveling around learning with astrologers and injuring myself, right? All right, back to this. So that's early in the morning. We'll be feeling that wherever you're at. And then as the day progresses, we're going to have the moon now moving into Pisces, dreamy Pisces. And the other aspect is going to be Neptune creating this semi-sextile over here to Venus. And these are cool aspects, both at 21 degrees 40 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as the moon is here at 2 degrees in Pisces. So the moon seems to lighten up a bit. And if you have anything here at 21 degrees, check your chart, because you're going to be getting aspected by this. So the moon seems to lighten up a bit, and where we might have had this yearning for, like, we need more technology, we need more whatever. And now it's saying, like, let's look at a broader picture. Let's think wider. Let's go in with a little bit of ease and use our imaginations to see a simpler solution for this. This might be the taping 2 popsicle sticks together, and that's our little splint for our finger. Could be anything. Let me know if you want. Share in your comments what you've come up with today. So this 21 degrees of Pisces, 21 degrees of Venus in Aries. These are interesting aspects, because at the 21 degrees of Pisces, this is essentially like Moses coming down with the stone tablets. Okay, so this is an individual receiving a higher transcended communication, or transparent communication, or insight, ascended insight coming in, and that wants to give this to other people. So this is about us sharing higher wisdom with other people. And then the 21 degrees of Aries, where these two are making this connection, this semi-sextile, again, that easy flow like we talked about yesterday between 2 different elements, this being water and fire, which normally water and fire don't go together. So these are going together in a beautiful, this is like the water dragon that still breathes fire, mythology. So 21 degrees of Aries, this is understanding that individually we can only do so much, but together, collectively, we can do a whole lot. And it's about what we as individuals bring to the table. So it's like, I'm a musician, or I play sound bowls and this stuff, and I talk about astrology, and somebody else took the time to make this shirt. Somebody else made this beautiful Shipipo Icaro pattern, shawl behind me. Somebody else made the pillows. Somebody else made the lights. Another person I know here in Detroit made those sweet moon things behind me. So, and this is, so it's like a flea market. Okay, so this is all of us coming together, taking what unique abilities that we have, because this area, this Aries energy, this fire energy is all about us, like, knowing ourselves. And are we the blacksmith? Are we the tire maker? Are we the nail maker? Are we the clothes maker? Are we the food preparer? Are we the food grower? And coming together and bringing all of our gifts to one another. And then it's like there's this higher spiritual essence that's going along with this as well. That's like this divine congregation, perhaps, of individuals coming together so that we can appreciate what human beings can all do. It's like, it's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So that's our energy of the day. It's individually finding out our strength of who we are, bringing forward whatever skill set that we have to add to the group, whatever unique nuggets of knowledge that we have as individuals. You know, I love talking about astrology, but somebody else might know something deep about philosophy or psychology or how the brain works or a different part of the body works or a spiritual part of the chakra system or something like that. You know, and then there's all of us coming together, joining into this conversation. You know, we kind of fill in the blanks. So this is half of like ability and half of like spiritual communication. And then as well, this other part of saying like, oh yeah, it's not just needing technology. It's not just needing whatever, this thing, and going back to a simpler approach of ways of dealing with life. Cool? That is our day, my friends. Go outside and look at the moon. Up there with Jupiter and Saturn right now. I love you. I wish you enough. Have a beautiful Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow.